Well, spring is just around the corner, so if you're planning on doing some exercising outdoors, you've come to the right place. We're at Kintec today with Corey and Jenna. We're talking about around the Bay race, training for that, what you need to do to get prepared, and kind of the history behind Kintec and what it's all about. Corey, give us a little rundown about what you do here and what kind of things you specialize in.
Yeah, absolutely. So our main goal is just to keep people active and on their feet for life. So we really want to make people change the way that they think about their feet. So we have our sort of fit experience here that we can bring our patients or customers through to give them the best tools to put into their toolbox, if you will, for keeping them active and keeping them healthy.
Okay, so people can come in here and they can get a full rundown and a full measurement and a full scale of how you can treat them to be their best ability, their peak ability.
Yeah, absolutely. So, whether it's for training for the Around the Bay race or running in local run groups or just staying active in general, we just try to give people, the most amount of information about their feet and about how they can, find the tools that are helpful for them.
Okay, now Jenna, you've done Around the Bay race before, and now you're training for it again. What are some of the obstacles that you've had to overcome?
Yeah, so I've run Around the Bay a few times, but I recently had a baby, so I have an 11-month-old at home. So that's a big barrier.
There's always a challenge.
But other than that, every year training for Around the Bay, I've always had some sort of minor injury, whether it's taken me out for a couple weeks or a month. During training. So this year, coming back to running, I was like, we're doing this right. I have to maximize my time in my training. So I came and saw Corey and Mike at Kintec, and I got my foot assessed right away postpartum, about 10 weeks, and then again about 6 months after that. So, and my foot had changed both times. It was a little bit different.
It's funny, how your feet can really change after you've had a baby. Mine went up a full half size.
Yeah, same. I was up a half size, and then they came back down. And anyways, so I'm glad I was here. But I can say, we're still a few weeks away, but I can say I haven't been injured yet.
Okay.
Training this year with their help.
Okay, well, that's great news. And it's so nice that you can come to a place like this within your community and get the help that you need to be able to run to the best of your ability. We've got lots more coming up on Morning Live. Don't go anywhere. Back at Kintec, and gone are the days where the shoe salesman gets down on the ground and takes that little metal, I don't even know what it's called, measuring device?
The Brannick device, yeah.
The Brannick device, so it has a name. Those are a thing of the past. We have something into the future. This is super cool, Corey. What's going on here?
Yeah, this is incredible. So, excuse me, this is our Fitscan system that we have Jenna on here. So it's a big part of what we do in measuring foot length and width and some additional measurements to get as much information that we can about Jenna's feet, so we know which way to direct her in terms of treatment options.
Okay.
So we can get started here, do a quick scan of Jenna's feet, only takes a few seconds. And what's really unique about this as well is that this gets emailed directly to our patient, which is awesome.
Now, when you say treatment options, what could potentially be wrong with her feet that she needs treated?
Absolutely. So we can look at things like orthotics, off-the-shelf insoles, bracing, footwear, in-home footwear, slippers, things like that. So there's a million different options that we can help with.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah.
And that whole thing just senses everything and measures everything.
Absolutely. So this just pulls up this 3D scan here of Jenna's feet.
Neat.
So not only does it give us length and width measurements, which are probably the two most common measurements people look at, but it also looks at things like volumes, so volume of the forefoot or the front of her feet. It compares the left and right side to other female populations that we scan. It also looks at things like instep height or thickness of the middle of the foot, and then also arch height as well.
I was going to say, arch is a huge difference on whether or not you get a good insole or not, because you can get really bad injuries with bad arch support.
Absolutely, yeah. So we'll take it with a bit of a grain of salt. We really want to look at her mechanics as well and how that impacts her arch profile.
Okay.
So we'll look at mechanics with her walking or running.
Okay.
And again, that can give us a lot of additional information.
Okay, now we're going to do that on the treadmill,
yeah,
right?
So we'll have her come over onto the treadmill here.
This is so cool that you can do it all in store.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it's all just right here on your location. You can come one-stop shop.
For sure. And what's really nice about this as well is we typically ask our patients to book an appointment, but it's completely free for all of our patients to do, which is
amazing.
Which is really unique.
So anybody that has issues with their feet and want to get a special fitting for orthotics or insoles or anything, this is the place.
Yeah, we would just ask them to book a one-to-one appointment, which is fantastic.
Okay.
So we typically take a little video here just of Jenna's gait or her walking mechanics. And then we can show Jenna the video as well of what her feet are doing during her gait analysis.
And during the gait analysis, what are you looking for?
Yeah, so we look for a few different things. Like we talked a little bit about earlier, we're looking at arch height and arch profile,
Yep.
and what her feet are doing during her walking pattern. So if she is in what we call an overpronator or an underpronator, depending on how her arch profiles are moving, making sure that the feet and the heels are pointing in the right directions. We'll look at things from the hips down and make sure everything is looking good.
Okay. All right, well, coming up, we're going to get Jenna fitted into the proper treatment that she's going to need for her feet, so don't go anywhere. Lots more coming up. Lots of different types of footwear here, Corey. You see your traditional brands, but then you also see Hoka. Not a lot of people know that brand.
Yeah, for sure. So Hoka is a pretty unique and niche brand, if you will, but very well known in the running community and in the medical community, which is really interesting. And lots of different, features that come with different brands of shoes that can make them really useful for certain mechanics or gait that we see as well.
Right, and now we're fitting Jenna she's got her own orthotics that you guys fit her for.
Yep. Yeah, so we just got Jenna into some orthotics recently. And they were based off of some of the information we got from our fit process. So from watching her walk on a treadmill, taking some additional measurements of her feet, doing some more postural observations, and talking about her medical history and other barriers she's looking to overcome. And that's how we've fabricated her orthotic.
So what did you have to do in these orthotics that are different compared to like a normal insole? Yeah,
for sure. So first thing is they're completely customized. So they're made for individual people, but also for her individual feet. Now in her case, both orthotics will look the same, but they will likely feel a little bit different from one foot to the other. And there's different cutouts and materials and things that we can use based on her activity level and what she's wearing them for.
Okay, and because she's wearing them for high impact running, does that make a difference?
Absolutely, yeah. We offer lots of different designs or styles of orthotics. Some of them for running specifically, like Jenna's. Others for work boots, or others for in-home footwear, slippers, things like that.
Yeah, because a lot of people still get orthotics even if they're just big walkers or, like you said, slippers or anything like that. So it's not specifically just for runners.
No, definitely not. In this case, yes, just for running for Jenna. But yes, we can make them for anything essentially.
Okay, and they fit perfectly in your shoes?
Yep, for sure. So a couple of things that we like to do. Jenna, I'll just have you stand up here. Whenever getting an insole or an orthotic, we want to make sure of a few things. We want to look for good arch contact. In Jenna's case, we actually want a little bit of space here just to accommodate for some excess movement with running or high impact. We've got additional cutouts in certain areas to offload high pressure points or pressure spots. And then, yes, we do want to make sure that they fit perfectly into the footwear. And that's why we have such an extensive selection of footwear as well, making sure that we have the right shoe for the right feet and the right person.
And what shoes is Jenna going to be wearing for
so
around the bay?
We actually got Jenna into what's called the Hoka Carbon X, and it's actually a carbon-plated midsole. So very, very stiff, and actually offers a bit of what we call a 4-foot rocker. And that will help to propel or push Jenna into toe off, take a lot of additional pressure or tension off soft
To make her
tissues
faster.
in
It
the
makes her
feet.
faster, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It makes her much faster. So she's going to notice a big difference with these compared to, let's say, a traditional, if you will, running shoe.
Right. So the big difference there is the carbon plate. And what about the material?
Yeah, so different densities of midsole, as we call it. Some have more cushioning, some have less. Hoka traditionally has a lot of additional cushioning in the midsole, so it has that thicker stack height, as we call it. And that's going to help her run more pain-free miles, which is the ultimate goal.
Right. And how often are you supposed to change your running shoes when you're a runner? Because that's a big thing. People talk about that all the time. I clearly am not a runner, but a lot of people discuss you need to change them every so many miles,
Yeah, if you're running in them consistently, we tell a lot of our patients or customers, if you're wearing the shoe every single day, 400 to 600 kilometers if you track your mileage on them.
Okay.
For the average person who maybe wears their shoes a couple of hours a day, maybe not for running, 6 months to a year maximum is typically when we'll say to replace.
Yeah, once a year, I would say, for the average. But Jenna, because she's running all the time and, she's winning all those big races, she's going to have to change hers a little quicker, right? All right, well, that's cool. Okay, well, coming up, we're going to have Jenna in the shoe. We're going to have her walking around, and so you can really see the difference. More just ahead on Morning Live. Kintec footwear and orthotics. Jenna is doing a great job modeling her running shoes on the treadmill. We've taken a look at what it was when she was doing her gait in bare feet. We added the orthotics into the mix. Now, how is she feeling now that she's got her shoes on?
Yeah, absolutely. So especially with a shoe like this and with her orthotics inside, there's a few things that we want to make sure Jenna's feeling during her gait with everything all underneath the feet. So with Hoka specifically, especially with this carbon-plated shoe, she's really going to notice a forward propulsion, or sort of a forward toe-off, as we call it. So that will really help to propel her, push her forward, especially with running.
That doesn't make the shoe any heavier, though. When you say there's a carbon plate in the shoe, you think, oh, that might be heavy, but it's not.
Yeah, they're extremely lightweight. There's so many different technologies with footwear now that reduces weight and increases efficiency, which is really important. But we'll often have our patients run or walk on the treadmill, so we can see mechanically what things look like now that everything is put together for her.
And Jenna's going to be wearing these orthotics and running shoes not just for around the bay. She also runs outside of her training and races, right?
For sure, yeah. So Jenna's part of a group that's called the Corners Run Crew. We see a lot of their runners come through the door looking for advice and looking for different things. So we want to keep her active and healthy and on her feet. Outside of races specifically, but every day as well in the community, which is great.
And Around the Bay is what she's training for, and that's actually coming up really soon, like end of the month, kind of soon.
Yeah, so March 26th is race day, and we're going to be at the expo on the 24th and 25th, selling Hoka exclusively. So we'll have Hoka there with us too. And we're going to have a great presence there. So
so if you're intimidated, or if you find kind of the running world, a little bit frightening to get into, I mean, this is a really good place to start, because this is where you can kind of get your feet measured properly. You can get your gait checked out properly. It's free to make an appointment here at Kintec. You can check out all of the different varieties of running shoes that they have. They've got at-home slippers. They can do it for work boots. I mean, this is such a great resource for people who are not just training for a race, but who want to live their life a little bit more comfortably in their footwear.
Yeah, for sure. We'll make it a full rounded experience. Everything under one roof, which is really nice. You can come and get lots of different options that can help you be pain-free.
All right. Well, thanks for having us, Corey.
Yeah,
we've had a good time. And thanks, Jenna, for being such a great foot model. And good luck. I'll be rooting for you. I hope you win.